This video contains content that may be confronting.
This was a very serious case. Three men, Maurice Howell, his brother Marius Howell and their friend Andrew David, were convicted by a jury several months ago of multiple counts of aggravated sexual assault and sexual touching in company against three young women. The court heard that these offences took place in February 2022 in Newcastle in an Airbnb rented out for a Bucks weekend for Maurice Howell. Now, in sentencing today, Justice Gina O'Rourke described the offences against these three young women who were aged just 18 and 19 as serious, degrading and heinous. She told the court that the three men acted in a pack mentality and treated these three women in a cold, callous, degrading and criminal way. And what was noted during the trial and what Justice O'Rourke again brought to the court's attention in sentencing was the fact that these three men are all highly educated. They come from Christian families. They're held in very high regard by their families. And this was all addressed in impact statements in the sentencing hearing prior to today's sentence. And she said that despite that, their actions on this weekend Bucks party were in stark contrast to how their mothers, their wife, their girlfriends and sisters have described them. And she said that they engaged in a joint criminal enterprise where each was as responsible and liable for the offences as each other. So in sentencing today, Maurice Howell was convicted of 10 offences. He's been sentenced to 14 years in prison with a non-parole period of 8 years and 6 months, which means he will be eligible for release in 2023. His younger brother Marius was found by the court to have had a less serious role in the offences, but he was still sentenced to 9 years in prison with a non-parole period of 5.5 years, which means he won't be eligible for being released until 2029. And Andrew David was found to be in the mid-range of those. He was convicted of 9 offences, 13 years in prison with a non-parole period of almost 8 years. So very lengthy sentences handed down to three offenders who had no prior convictions before these offences on that Bucks weekend in Newcastle and were held in high regard by their families and their employers. So an extraordinary day in that court.
If you or anyone you know was affected by this video, please contact Lifeline on 13 11 14 or 1-800-RESPECT, 1-800-737-732.